Welcome to Next Gen Manufacturing. Today, we're digging into the true bedrock of any modern factory. And spoiler alert, it's not flashy robots or some complex AI. It's a simple, powerful philosophy that can completely transform a workplace, turning it from a source of constant friction into a launch pad for world-class performance. I mean, really think about that for a second. What if the very space you work in every single day isn't just neutral? What if it's actively making your job harder? It's like this invisible saboteur quietly wrecking your efficiency, your quality, and even your safety. You see, every disorganized space has what you could call an invisible factory humming away inside it. It's a factory that produces wasted minutes or hours looking for things. A factory that manufactures defects because the right parts aren't where they should be. And maybe worst of all, a factory that builds frustration, making it almost impossible to do great work. So what's the answer? Well, it's a brilliant methodology that came out of Japan. It's a systematic way to create a workplace that doesn't just look clean, but one that actively works for you, not against you. It's called 5S, and honestly, it's the essential first step to building anything great. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to expose the real cost of that hidden chaos. Then we'll walk through the first 3 S's, the big physical transformation. After that, we'll see how the 4th S makes the factory smart. Then the 5th S, making it all stick. And finally, we'll connect the dots and see why this is the non-negotiable foundation for the factory of the future. Let's do it. All right, first things first, we have to really see the problem. Think about a workbench in a messy shop. What's its real job? Too often, it just becomes a glorified storage locker where tools go to die and time gets lost. Before we can build something better, we have to face the hidden costs of this chaos head on. And here it is, this system itself. 5 logical steps. Seiri, Seitan, Seiso, Seiketsu, and Shitsuke. Don't worry about the Japanese words for now, just focus on the concepts. Each one builds perfectly on the last, taking us on a journey from a cluttered mess to a disciplined, high-performing environment. Let's break them down. So the whole transformation kicks off with these first 3 S's. We're lumping them together because this is the really tangible part. This is the hands-on work where you can physically see the workspace changing right before your eyes. Step 1, sort, is all about ruthless evaluation. And I mean ruthless. You look at every single object in your work area, every tool, every bin, every piece of paper, and you ask one simple question. Do I actually need this right here to do my job? If the answer is no, it's got to go. Now, this whole process isn't based on gut feelings. It's driven by data. The decision boils down to this. How often do you use it? If it's something you use every hour or every day, yeah, keep it within arm's reach. But if it's something you touch once a year, it has no business cluttering up your prime real estate. This little chart right here is your guide to decluttering with a purpose. This brings us to the second S, set in order. And this slide just nails the philosophy. We're moving away from a world of hidden storage, closed toolboxes and cluttered drawers where everything gets lost, to a world of evident storage. With something like a shadow board, you can tell in half a second if that 10mm socket is missing. The goal is dead simple, a place for everything and everything in its place, out in the open. And now for the 3rd S, shine. And listen, this might be the most misunderstood step of them all. This is not just about making things look pretty for a tour. It's about investigation. Because when you are physically cleaning a machine, you are forced to look at it, to touch it, to pay close attention to it. And that's when the magic happens. Cleaning becomes this incredibly powerful form of preventative maintenance. The source material is full of stories about teams finding loose bolts, tiny oil leaks, frayed wires, even discovering that a machine had 2 filters installed where there should have only been 1. These are the little problems that, if they were left hiding under a layer of grime, could have turned into catastrophic line-stopping failures. But what happens when you find one of those problems? You don't just make a mental note. You use this genius technique, anomaly tagging. You slap a tag right on the issue, maybe a red one for a safety problem, and a little tear-off stub goes on essential action board. That tag stays on the machine until the problem is 100% resolved. It's a simple, visual guarantee that nothing gets forgotten. So, we've physically transformed the space. It's clean, it's organized. Now with the 4th S, standardize, we make a huge pivot. We go from making the space clean to making the space smart. This is where we make the workplace talk to us. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. The evident factory tells its own story. The whole goal is to create an environment that's so clear, so self-explanatory, that a total stranger could walk in and just by looking around, understand the workflow, see where things belong, and spot if something is wrong. And you do this with really simple but powerful visual cues. We're talking about lines on the floor that scream, "This is a walkway," or "This is a work zone." Arrows on pipes so you know which way the coolant is flowing. Gauges with clear green, yellow, and red zones. Everything is labeled. Key performance numbers are up on a board for the whole team to see. The workplace itself literally becomes the instruction manual. And that brings us to the final S, sustain. Let's be honest, this is the hardest part. The source material calls it the most difficult, and I agree, because it's also the most important. All that incredible work from the first 4 S's can evaporate in a matter of weeks if you don't bake it into the culture. So how do you make it stick? You build systems. You don't just rely on willpower. We're talking about regular self-audits done by the teams themselves, quick 5-minute stand-up meetings to talk about 5S issues, a simple reset routine at the end of every single shift, and maybe the most critical piece, unwavering, visible support from every level of management, showing that this isn't just a project of the month, it's the new way of life. Okay, let's connect all the dots. We've talked about sorting tools, cleaning floors, and putting labels on things. It might seem basic. So why is this the foundation of next-gen manufacturing? Why does it matter so much for the future? Because here's the bottom line. You cannot build a smart factory on a dumb, chaotic foundation. It just doesn't work. All that amazing tech, advanced robotics, IoT sensors, predictive analytics, it all needs a stable, predictable, and transparent environment to deliver on its promise. 5S creates that stability. It gets rid of the noise, the waste, and the random variables, clearing the path for technology to actually do its magic. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Take a look around you right now, whether you're on a factory floor, in an office, or at your desk at home. Is that space working with you, or is it working against you? What story is your workspace telling? Because that story, well, that's the beginning of everything. Thanks for joining us on Next Gen Manufacturing.